जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्त वृंद के जय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपी गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय, मथुरा धाम की जय, सीधा मायापुर धाम की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, गंगा यमुना माई की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। जय गौर प्रेमानंदे गिरि बोल और girls are somebody
Hare
devotees,
Krishna,
somebody devotees,
Hare Krishna,
all girls
Hare
is
Krishna,
Sister and Gauranga.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Now we
Hare
continue
Krishna.
uh, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 15, Text 14. So, I'm going to read the translation. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Vasanti yatra purusa sarve vaikuntamurtaya ye nimitha nimittena dharmena radhyayam harim. Vasanti yatra purusa sarva vaikuntamurtaya ye nimitha nimittena dharmena radhyayam harim. Vasanti yatra purusa sarva vaikuntamurtaya ye nimita nimittena dharmena radhaya harim. Devotees recite.
Hare Krishna. Vasanti yatra purusha sarva vaikuntha murtaya ye nimitta nimittena dharma aradhayan harim.
Vasanti Yatra Purusha Sarve Vaikuntamurtaya Ye Animitta Nimittena Dharmena Radhyan Harim. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Ready.
Vasanti yatra purushaः सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तयः ये निमित्तेन धर्मेण आराधयन् हरिम्. हरे कृष्ण.
वसन्ति यत्र पुरुषा सर्वे वैकुण्ठमूर्तया ये निमित्तनिमित्तेन धर्मेणाराधयन् हरिम्.
Ye Animitta.
Anybody else? So if we don't have nobody, and we can go to word translation, synonyms. Vasanti, they live, yatra, where, purusha, person, sarve, all, vaikunta murtaya, having a four-handed form, is that of the Supreme Lord, Vishnu, ye, Supreme Lord Vishnu, ye, those vaikunta persons, animita, without desire for sense gratification, nimitena, caused by, dharmena, by devotional service, aradhayam, continuously worshipping, harim, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. In the Vaikuntha planets, all the residents are similar in form to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They all engage in devotional service to the Lord without desires for sense gratification. Purport by Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The residence and the form of living in Vaikuntha are described in this verse. The residents are all like the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan. In Vaikuntha planet, Krishna's plenary feature as four-handed Narayan is a predominating deity, and the residents of Vaikuntha Loka are also four-handed, just contrary to our conception here in the material world. Nowhere in the material world do we find a human with four hands. In Vaikuntha, there is no occupation but the service, service of the Lord. And this service is not rendered with a purpose. Although every service has a particular result, the devotee never aspire for fulfillment of their own desires. The desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. ज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा परामायं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकम् जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर गौर भक्त ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण के स्थापितवे कृष्ण के स्वामी नाम विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण के स्थापितवे स्मृति भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नाम नमस्ते देवी गौरवाणी Vanchakapapariyo Kripasikita Eva Chapatitaram Pavanini. So this is a very nice chapter. Most of this chapter is talking about the kingdom of God. So the kingdom of God and what the nature of the kingdom of God. How there's one look in Vaikuntha. So as we know, we have the highest planet is Vaikuntha, and 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 fourth of Vaikuntha, Srila Prabhupada say is Goloka Vrindavan. So in this verse, we're talking about the planet Vaikuntha. Now, after rendering service, pure devotional service, one is elevated to that place called Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha, Prabhupada said, place where there's no anxiety. Vaikuntha, without anxiety. This place, and this Vaikuntha lok that is described here is as a devotees who perform pure devotional service. After being purified, then they're able to be elevated to that planets. And there they got the same form as the Lord. And so Prabhupada is talking, they look like Lord Vishnu, but they are not Vishnu, they're the servant of Lord Vishnu and Lord Narayan. They have four-handed form. So the only motive, the only desire is just to serve the Lord Narayan. So, and they are very blissfully serving the Lord without any personal desire. So there's two words. There's two in this purpose that Prabhupada speak about devotional service without any purpose. What purpose? What does that mean? Prabhupada is mentioning without any material contamination. In this material world, everybody is serving everyone. and we cannot live even without service. But the service that Srila Prabhupada is mentioning there is worshipping the Lord, is worshipping the Supreme Personality of the Lord, without any adulteration, without any any contamination. In this material world, whatever we do, even in our day-to-day life, we won't serve until we get a result, get some result. Why we work so hard, we go out and work so hard so that we can have some, we can make so much money, you know, you know, for our own sense gratification, you know, to help our family, and this needed to be done. But in the Vaikuntha Loka, when we go to the spiritual world, all this service are not meant to satisfy nobody. Only Hari Tosanam, you know, only to to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead, to please Krishna. All the service that is done is only meant just to just to see it's to serve Krishna. And this service is called pure devotional service, Anya Bilasa Sunyam, without any personal desire. So we, like Prahlad Maharaj, there's a after after having darshan of Lord Nishingadev, Prahlad Maharaj, and Lord Nishingadev is asking Prahlad Maharaj, you know, I want to give you a boon for your service, for being such a wonderful devotee. And Prahlad Maharaj, he just refused to accept any service from the Lord. He says, Lord, I just want to pray to you to get pure devotional service. I'm not expecting anything. And I'm not like a merchant, I trade some by saying, I render some, I give you some good, you know, like a merchant, like trading. So you'll be satisfied and you give me some money. And Prahlad Maharaj, being a pure devotee, teaches by an example that, we should not expect anything from the Lord. Whatever the Lord desires, we have to be, we have to accept whatever the Lord desires. That is called pure devotion service. What Srila Prabhupada is talking about, without any purpose. And whatever purpose of life is there. And everyone can go to Vaikuntha. That's our aspiration. I know we can serve anybody. One who is pure devotee, he doesn't mind serving in any part, even in hell, in this material world. But most of us, we have a desire to be with the Lord one day. That's why did we take to Krishna consciousness? We took to Krishna consciousness not for, because we know this material world, the nature of this world. And we know the happiness, the eternal happiness, blissful life we can have when we dovetail all our desires, in the service of the Lord. Prabhupada repeatedly, asking one have to serve Krishna, one have to serve the spiritual master. Why Prabhupada always emphasizing serving, serving, serving? That's the nature of the spirit soul, as part and parcel of Krishna, and our constitutional position is service. To serve, to be connected, to serve Krishna, And if we want to serve for our own sense gratification, that means there's no love. Anyway, even when we're serving sometimes now, if our consciousness is not pure, we have like mixed, devotional service. We may, it may appear that we're doing so much service and anything, but the heart has to be pure. And we're serving, we should not expect, oh, I'm serving the temple because I want to be glorified. I'm doing this service because I want somebody else to recognize me. Our only purpose, is to serve and please Krishna. And devotional service is not a show off, not a show off to show off, how much service we're doing, and we should have that. If even somebody glorify here, we accept it as mercy of Krishna. Even somebody doesn't glorify us, we still accept it as service of Krishna. Deep in our heart, if we have to always remember, that our every service that we are doing is to help our spiritual master, to help Srila Prabhupada, and to please Krishna, to please Krishna. That is a consciousness of those who are pure devotees and those who live in the Vaikuntha planet. Those once become pure, will be elevated there. And there also it doesn't mean that we'll be there, for our own sense gratification. Reaching the spiritual world is for pleasing the Lord only. So that is very, say, savai pumsam paro dharma, ahai tuki aparihata, without any personal desire. And this is the highest, paro dharma, that's our dharma, is to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, and another thing, it is a material world. People work so hard and everything, and just, they just want some sense gratification. But there, when devotees, when pure devotees are serving Krishna, even in our Krishna consciousness movement, there's so many examples, like devotees always working, always doing service. And a lot of devotees just only by devotional service, by just by doing engaging in any kind of devotional service, their heart get purified. Like we have in early days, I heard some lecture from, I think from Mukunda Goswami. He was talking about Jayananda Prabhu. Jayananda Prabhu, like he was such a wonderful devotee. He was a graduate. He has a graduate degree. So when he joined Krishna consciousness, and he has such an intense desire to serve Srila Prabhupada and serve Krishna, and he took a very humble job, like driving taxi, so that he can collect money just to just to help the temple. And he will do any menial service, just try to give Krishna consciousness to everyone. And he was really living, he himself, he was living very, very, very simple. And his desire was only just to serve Krishna and serve his Guru, Srila Prabhupada, and to help Srila Prabhupada's mission. So when he passed away, Srila Prabhupada said that, after some time he got cancer. Then he has to leave his body. So when he left his body, Srila Prabhupada glorified him. He said, this is a perfect example of like a devotee, a pure devotee who doesn't have any other desires. It's just that desires was only to serve. He was always just serving in any capacity, do anything that is needed to help the temple. So in the end, when he left, he was glorified, and he's the one who first built the Ratha Yatra cart. That's why in every time when we have Ratha Yatra, we have a picture of Jayananda Prabhu on the cart and his contribution, And he was never expecting any people to glorify him, just only by his service, Now he's glorified throughout the world. So, and whatever money he had whatever money he in his saving, he gave everything to Srila Prabhupada. That mean selfless devotional service, not thinking about himself. He was just thinking how to serve his guru, how to serve Krishna, how to spread Krishna consciousness. So even in this material, we have so many examples like that. So many other devotees, I know they selflessly give up everything, and the purpose is only just to serve Krishna. They're not expecting to get anything. Even they go so many difficulties, they still like they fix their mind that they have to serve the spiritual master, serve Krishna without any personal desires. So to reach to that stage, is just we have to constantly, follow the order of a spiritual master, chanting the holy name, to purify our heart, and follow the four regulative principles, and by and reading Srimad Bhagavatam and read Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In this way, we can purify at the end of the life, when we know we'll go back to Vaikuntha, where they also, will be happily and peacefully serving the Lord, you know. And one devotee was asking Srila Prabhupada, what's the difference because Vaikuntha and Goloka Vrindavan. Prabhupada said that in Vaikuntha, it depends on devotee's choice. In Vaikuntha, there's no difference, but in Vaikuntha, devotees serve Krishna in Dasya Rup and in all reverence and so in a service attitude. But in Goloka Vrindavan, they have like, personal relationship with the Lord, like a mother, like Mother Yasoda, like a friend in Vatsalya, and conjugal conjugal mellow. So it's just a question of taste, but there's no difference between Goloka Vrindavan and Vaikuntha. And we can see, like the gopis of Vrindavan, you know, they just simply just love Krishna. They just want to serve Krishna. They don't even care going to hell, you know, just pleasing Krishna. That's the mood that we all have to cultivate. There's one nice story. I was just listening to Srila Prabhupada lecture, just the other day. It's still fresh in my mind. I think you heard it loud before. Once Krishna got sick, and he got sick. And then he had a terrible headache. Then the physician come and check him, and Krishna, they want to try to give him some medicine, and Krishna said, "No, I just want the dust from the lotus feet of my devotees." So, so the physician went everywhere and you know and asked different devotees, I would like to get the dust of lotus feet to cure Krishna's headache. And they all refused. Oh my God, how can we give Krishna the dust of lotus feet? This is we'll go to hell. It's very simple. It's very we cannot give. Then then they go uh, to Vrindavan and ask the gopi, if Krishna has a headache, I want some, the dust of your lotus feet. Oh, and the devotee, without even thinking, they say, okay, you can take the dust of lotus feet as long as Krishna is going to, and they get cured. You just take the dust of the lotus feet without any thinking, without anything. Their conscious, their desire is only to please Krishna. They don't even care. They want to go to hell. So that is the mentality, that the consciousness, that that we should be aspire for, like Srila Prabhupada, that is the highest form of devotional service without any personal desire. And there's a gopis, they don't even care what the result of the of giving the dust of of their feet to Krishna. They're ready. So we also have to be ready to do any kind of devotional service that is pleasing to the Lord. Anything that is pleasing to the Lord, that's the highest form of devotional service. And I was Prabhupada is it the I'm going to read something. There's so many letters that Srila Prabhupada said, like how we have to, we have to have, like all his temple, Prabhupada said, is like Vaikuntha. Why it is like Vaikuntha? Because Krishna is being glorified there. So he's one letter he was telling his devotees, I'm very, very happy that you're taking so good care of this temple and serving so enthusiastically, you know, and this is non-difference for Vaikuntha. And in a room conversation with Shama Sundar Prabhupada, it seemed only natural gradually if you're all the time serving, 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 serving. That's it. And Prabhupada said, yes, this is only way. Seva mukhe hi jivado swayam eva spuriti ada. By your service, Krishna will automatically reveal himself. He wants service. Therefore, he says, surrender to me. Surrender unto me now. Not stop all activities. Surrender unto me. What he will say you do. That's surrender. Just like Arjuna surrendered. So surrender means that he has to fight. That is surrender. Not that I surrender, I do nothing. That is not surrender. That's only negation. Do nothing in the material world. That is negation. Take positive views. That is doing. That is doing always for Krishna. And also Prabhupada talk about this Anya Bilasa syndrome. Sunya, we always hear. He said zero. Everything zero. Make it zero. Sunyam. Jnana karmadi anavritam. Jnana. Karma means that's some aspiration or profit. Karmis, they are trying to be elevated in higher planetary system. And Jnani, they wanted to become one with the Supreme. So that is also demand. That means some desires. It's not anya bilasa sunyam. But one has to become anya bilasa sunyam. Any desire, make it zero. That is make it zero. Then what to do? I shall become dull, dumb? Prabhupada said, no. Anukalyena Krishna Anusilanam. This verse is for Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 19 once again. You have to work according favorably as Krishna's desire that it is. That is wanted. That is bhakti. Anukulyena Krishna no. That's right. You have to simply abide by the orders of Krishna or his representative. Then Shama Sundar said, there's a conversation between Prabhupada and Shama Sundar Prabhu. Then you become automatically mad after Krishna. Yes, the more you practice, the more you become mad. And under this first, this is the highest self conquer the lower. This with the highest self conquers the lower self and curbs the insatiable enemy known as less. So this is very, very important. Prabhupada says, this is a devotee talking. Prabhupada says, highest self, I don't follow. That's the verse in the Gita, Prabhupada, the devotee say. No, this is Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. You will find in Nectar Devotion, Anya Bilasa Sunyam Jnana Karmani Anavritam. You have to read this Nectar Devotion. That's a book, in Nectar of Devotion. It is mentioned, about different stage of devotional service, and it's very important for us to read that. I'm sure those uh, who did the Bhakti Sastra is one of the book that is recommended that we read, but Nectar Devotion is called Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So in this book, we can hear about different kind of devotional service. So what really devotional service mean? So this verse is so many times Srila Prabhupada, quotes this verse, Anya Bilasa Sunyam, Jnana Karmani Anavritam. So you will find there where the nectar devotion brings. So our business, our main business really is engaging people in serving Krishna. Somehow or other, if you cannot engage him, then let him simply eat. Engage him in eating. That's all we are actually doing in the beginning. Please come here and take some prasadam and go home. Anya bilasa sunyam, jnana karmani anavritam. Okay, there are three categories of devotional service. Sirupa Goswami described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. They are listed devotional in practice, devotional in excessive devotional, and pure love of Godhead. There are many subheadings in each of these categories. So if you want to know about what is really pure devotional service, only when we come to the stage of pure devotional service, then we are eligible to enter Vaikuntha planet. As long as we have personal desires, to fulfill, we can never attain the spiritual world. Those of us, who are really have a desire to go back home, to back to God, we really have to come to the stage of pure devotional service. He said, but generally it understood that the category devotional and practice, there are two different qualities. Devotional service and ecstasy has 4 qualities, and devotional and pure love of God has 6 qualities. These qualities will be explained by Sura Goswami on. In this connection, Srila Rupa Goswami suggests that person eligible for Krishna consciousness or devotional service can be classified by particular tastes. He says that devotional service is a continual process for one's previous life. No one can take to devotional service unless he has some previous connection with it. For example, suppose in this life I practice devotional to some extent. Even though it's not 100% perfectly performed, still whatever I have done will not be lost. In my next life, on the very point where I stop in this life, I shall begin again. In this way, there is always continuity. But even if there is no continuity, if only by chance a person take interest in pure devotees' instruction, he can be accepted and advance in devotional service. This is the point. Preaching means this. Even one has no previous record of service, still if he meets a pure devotee, become enthusiastic. Therefore, preaching required. Otherwise, one can say that whatever he has done in last life, he would begin from that. And this is a nice conversation that Prabhupada is talking about how one can take to devotional service. And Prabhupada said, and also it said, like most of this is say maybe in our previous life we did some pious activities. That's why we have taken to Krishna consciousness. And also we always heard that, many of us, even we didn't do any pious activities. This is by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and the previous acharyas. And, we got a chance to take the devotional service, and devotional service only is really attained. So is nectar devotion say is really attained, So those who have the chance to render even a little bit devotional service in this lifetime, we can say we are very fortunate because nectar devotion said is really attained. Is really attained. So by the mercy of our previous acharyas and Srila Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, we have been given devotional service. It's very important for us to take it sincerely and do the best to our ability. Always try to engage with the bearing in mind that we're not doing it, to get some recognition for our own profit, and even we have the desires, by continually, rendering devotional service and chanting the holy name of the Lord, that is also devotional service. And Prabhupada is telling, even taking Krishna Prasadam, if also is devotional service. But if we take it, when we're taking prasadam, I know we like to enjoy, we like to enjoy, tasty prasadam and everything. We have to say, oh, this prasadam has been tasted by Krishna, and this is very special, and we should honor prasadam in this way. And even when we're eating, for our own, we feel very nice, so palatable and everything. At the same time, say, okay, this is offered to Krishna, and this is such nice prasadam, and I'm sure Krishna enjoyed. Just being Krishna conscious, even when you're taking, you're trying to gratify your senses, just thinking about Krishna. In this way, this is also devotional service, Prabhupada. And also, now the Bhakti Vinod Thakur, and Narottam Das Thakur, this and so many nice bhajan, he said, this human form of life, like a Manusha Janaman Paya Radha Krishna Bhajiya, Janiya Suniya Visakainu, you know, after attaining this human form of life, we're willingly taking poison, Janiya Suniya Visakainu, because we're not worshipping the Supreme Personality of Radha Krishna. So we should always take it so seriously, like we somehow or other, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we came to Krishna consciousness, and we have to try to reach to that stage where one day we can run the devotional service without expecting, any result, and our only purpose, you know, purpose is to please Krishna. And this is very nice talking about devotional service. I'm reading from this conversation by Srila Prabhupada. He says, to support this statement, there are many authority assertions by the learned scholar of bygone ages. According to general opinion, a person may become governed by certain convictions derived by his own argument and decision. Then another person who may be a great logician will nullify his conclusion and establish another thesis. In this way, the power of argument will never save for conclusion. The Srimad Bhagavatam recommends, therefore, one follow in the footsteps of authorities. Here is a general description of devotional service given by Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Previously, it has been stated that devotional service can be divided into three categories, namely devotional service in practice. What is devotional service in practice? I mean, like, mostly in like what we are doing nowadays is we're practicing, like we're practicing devotional service, and devotional service in ecstasy and devotion in serving pure love of Godhead. Now Srila Goswami proposes to discount devotional in practice. Practice means employing our senses in some particular type of work. Therefore, devotional service in practice means utilizing our different sensory organ in the service to Krishna. Some of the senses are meant for acquiring knowledge, some are meant for executing conclusion, our singing, feeling, and willing. So that's what we are doing and engaging. Every time we're engaging in any kind of service, we do practical devotional service. Like if you go to the temple, like, Mother Sabaradi there, is go and in taking care of the little kid and try to give Krishna consciousness, teach them, and organizing the Sunday school every day, and she's engaging in practical devotional service. She's just trying, to encourage and to facilitate, you know, facilitate, parent with children so that they can learn about Krishna consciousness. So this is practical devotional service. Every Sunday he has to come, to the temple and then make sure that Sunday school is running nicely. So that all the teachers come and all the classes are covered. And this is practical devotional service. And that means you have to use your senses. You have to drive. You have to drive using, drive, and in his mind always singing, like is everything is set up nicely so that the Sunday school can run nicely. And personally, I'll go and use my senses. I'll take a shower in a certain time, and I'll drive my car to the temple and wake up the deities and make the offering plate, and using all my senses, using my leg, my arm, my mind, and offering to the Lord and doing the artis for the Lord. And this is all using your senses. And when you're doing that, it's not like we're expecting, okay, I'll go there because, you know, and if people doing it in continuity, like keep on doing that, that doesn't mean that these people, they're expecting something. There is a tinge of pure devotional service there, but not be, maybe it may not be 100%, like pure devotional service. But if one has a desire, that I'm just going there just to please my spiritual master and to please Krishna. And we always have to keep this in mind. Even there's some contamination of that. If you're continually doing some devotional service day after day, day after day, day after day, there's some desires, to please Krishna there. You cannot be completely just to show off. So we always have to, develop a desire, to somehow or other to serve Krishna with all our heart, and just our motive is only to please Krishna and our spiritual master. In this way, then we also can become a resident of Vaikuntha, of the Goloka Vrindavan, and the gopis, I sing this song every day. They're always talking about service, what is called Radha Krishna Pranamo Yugala Kishore. So that's a very elevated song, but we all have to aspire to become one day become a pure devotee. That Narottam Das Thakur, a pure devotee of the Lord, is saying like that. Radha Krishna Pranamo, they make Krishna as a life and soul. Yugala Kishore, the couple, the divine couple. Jivane Marane, Radha Krishna Pranamora Jugala Kiso Pane Marane Gati Arnahimo. He said in Jivane Marane, even in this life or death, we still they're nothing. They're my life and soul, You see, and continuing the song is Gatiya Mala Tirmala Dibotu Har Gali, and they are meditating, I will string garland or malatis and put it on your beautiful, Divani Adari Tulibo Dibo, and I will make sandalwood paste and place it on your lotus feet. Adari tulipo di boca pula tampole mixed with camphor. And that is a like service with pure devotion, and they just want to serve the Lord. And it said, Lalita Visaka Adi Jata Saki Vrinda. And in order to run the service, we always have to ask the permission of, in this song, it says Lalita Visaka Adi Jata Saki Vrinda. Asking the person, the Narottam said, I'm asking the permission of Lalita and Visaka, so that I can serve. can serve. So we also, before serving the Lord, we always have to ask the permission our our Vaishnava, our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, out of the mercy. Even whatever we're doing, we're talking about Krishna also. We don't have, what do we know about Krishna? But we can hear about Krishna from a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada books. We don't know anything about Krishna. Who is Krishna? What is devotional service? But we can hear from Krishna, from Krishna's pure devotees. In this way, we also can, we can render pure devotional service. And Prabhupada also said, using all our senses, like we say, great devotees, they always, like pray like that, like Narottam Das Thakur in this song. You say, Shama Gori Ange Dibo Chamara Dulai. You know, I I always fan you with a chamara and always, trying to just serve. And he said, Sri Krishna and Narottam Das Thakur in the end of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Dasi Anudas Seva Abhilasa Kore Narottama Das. So he said, Sri Krishna, by the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and Dasa Anudas, and the servant of the servant of Krishna, I desire to serve you. Deva Abhilasa, my desire is just to serve you, my Lord. So this is a very nice song. So there's so many places where Srila Prabhupada emphasized that how we have to render pure devotional service. So the topic of today is that the residents of Vaikunta, they always like serving the Lord, with all the senses. So we have to practice that. So Prabhupada also in this the last paragraph I was reading, Prabhupada said, so practice means employing both the mind and the senses in practical devotional service. So we cannot say, like we can attain Krishna only by meditation, just using our mind. They say by practical devotional service, meaning using all our senses. And seva muke hijivado, and one of the senses they're using our tongue. What are we using our tongue in chanting the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Prabhupada, so many places and incessantly, without any stop, always chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking Krishna Prasad, In this way, like you can always remember Krishna. This practice is not for developing something artificial. For example, a child learns or practice to walk. This walking is unnatural. The walking capacity is there originally in the child. So simply by little practice, he walk very nicely. Similarly, devotional service to the Supreme Lord is natural instinct of every living entity. Even uncivilized men like the Aborigine offers respectful obeisance to something wonderful exhibited by nature's law. So they appreciate that behind some wonderful exhibition or action, there is something supreme. So this consciousness, though lying dormant in those who are materially contaminated, it is found in every living entity. When it is purified, this is Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada said, therefore we must practice sadhana bhakti. That's what we are practicing, sadhana bhakti. What does that mean? Which means to offer mangalati, deity worship in the morning, to refrain from certain activities, to offer obeisances to spiritual master. Every day, we sing we start our day, mangalati, and we sing this Siguru Astakam. Samsara dava nalalida loka tanaya karuna ganaganavam pakashakalyana anavasha vande guru shri charanara vindam. So we always, we we start our day by singing this song and offering obeisances to the spiritual master. And it says to offer obeisances to the spiritual master, to follow many rules and regulations, which will be this here one after another. This practice will help us one become pure of madness. A man's mental disease is cured by direction of a psychiatrist. So the sadhana bhakti cures the conditioned soul of his madness under the spell of material illusion. Narad Muni mentioned this sadhana bhakti in Srimad Bhagavatam 7 Canto, first chapter, 13, verse 30. He says that King Yudhishthira, my dear king, one has to fix his mind on Krishna by any means. This is called Krishna consciousness. It is a duty as Acharya, spiritual master, to find ways and means for his disciple to fix his mind on Krishna. That is beginning of sadhana bhakti. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us an authorized program for this purpose, centered around chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra. This chanting has so much power that immediately attaches one to Krishna. That is the beginning of sadhana bhakti. Somehow or other one has to fix the mind on Krishna. The great Saint Ambarish, although irresponsible king, fixed his mind on Krishna. Similarly, anyone who tried to fix his mind in this way, they will rapidly make progress, successfully reviving his original Krishna consciousness. Now, the sadhana bhakti, or practice of pure devotion service, can also be divided in two parts. The first part is called regulative principle, one to follow the different regulative principle by the order of spiritual master and strength of authoritative scriptures, and there can be no question of refusal. This is called Vaidhi, or regulated. One has to do it in any argument. So there's a lot in this one. And anybody know what kind of devotional service we are practicing?
Sadhana bhakti,
Sadhana bhakti or
practice.
Vaidhi bhakti.
Vaidhi bhakti.
He said, Rupa Goswami defined the first part of devotion as Vaidhi bhakti as follows: when there is no attachment or no spontaneous loving service to the Lord, one is engaged in the service of the Lord simply by following simply of obedience or order spiritual master in pursuit of scriptures. Such obligatory service is called Vaidhi bhakti. This principle of Vaidhi bhakti also described in Srimad Bhagavatam 2nd Canto, verse 35. When Sukadev Goswami instructed dying Maharaj Pariksit as to his course of action, Maharaj Pariksit met Sukadev Goswami just a week before his death, and the king was perplexed as to what to be done before he was to pass on. Many other sages also arrived there, but no one could give him proper direction. Sukadev Goswami, however, gave the direction to him as follows: My dear king, if you want to be fearless in meeting your death next week, but actually everyone is afraid at the point of death, then you must immediately begin the process of hearing and chanting and remembering God. One can chant and hear Hare Krishna and always remember Lord Krishna. That is sure to become fearless of death, which may come any moment. So the I don't want to read the Prabhupada. I'm just reading some important. Everything is important, but Prabhupada said we should always try to mold our activities, our life, in such a way that we'll constantly remember Vishnu or Krishna. That is Krishna consciousness. Whether one concentrates his mind on the four-handed form of Vishnu or the form of two-handed Krishna, it is the same. The Padma Purana recommends somehow or other always think of Vishnu. without forgetting him under any circumstances. Actually, it's the most basic of all regulative principles. For when there is an order from a superior about doing something, there is simultaneously a prohibition. So when the order is that one should always remember Krishna, the prohibition is that one should never forget him. Using the simple order of and prohibition or regulative principle of fire complete. So on this note, it's nice to always read about what Srila Prabhupada said about devotional service. Actually, this is from a conversation of April 2nd, 1972 in Sydney, Australia. Prabhupada started, was talking to Shama Sundar, one of his disciples, and other devotees. So and Prabhupada also, I said, I asked him if he has, here, Shama Sundar is saying, he's going to be, he gave me the address, California, he'll be living there for some time. This is about one devotee. And say, Prabhupada, I asked him that he was there, he can see me. Our mission is very nice. We want to see everyone happy. We don't want anything from anyone. We don't say that you give me fee, then I'll give you some mantra. No, we don't say like that. Our instruction is free. I want to see that they are doing it and are happy. That's all. Radha Krishna Bolo, Sange Chalo E Matra Bikachai. Prabhupada is just quoting the song from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. You simply chant Hare Krishna and come with me this much. I don't want anything else. So Prabhupada giving us a very nice, so in his books, all this nice instruction about how, we can ourselves attain pure devotional service. So if we just follow Srila Prabhupada and read the book and do whatever he asks us to do, engage all our senses in the service of Krishna and always chant the holy name of the Lord, you know, we can attain pure devotional service, and we can, even after leaving this body, we know we'll go to Krishna in the spiritual world, and our Gaudiya, Sampradaya, Vaishnavas, they all aspire to go to Goloka Vrindavan, where they can be a servant there, serving Krishna in any 5 conjugal mellows, be a servant, be the friend of Krishna, or be a mother of Krishna, or be a lover of Krishna. So I know these are very elevated, but that's the aspiration of all the devotees, especially our Gaudiya Sampradaya. They just want to go to the abode Goloka Vrindavan and serve Radha Krishna. Radha Krishna. So in this note, if anybody has any comment about today's verse, please feel free to discuss your mind and share your realization, our devotional service, pure devotional service.
Hare Krishna. If anybody has questions, please just, or realizations, just unmute yourself. What I was thinking, I was with family this weekend and talking to somebody who's not a devotee. So your class was mostly, I think, addressed to devotees and, how to better ourselves in our devotional service. All of us are at some level or the other, and we should see how to get ourselves higher than that. But it was interesting how this one person that I was talking to was like, so I said, the goal of our life is to get out of this life and death cycle and get out of it. So he said, go where then? Go to Vaikuntha, go to Golok Vrindavan. What will we do there? I said, we will be happily serving Krishna there. That will be our only. And the answer was, what else? Like, how won't we be bored just doing that? And I just realized how much we are affected by Maya and how we are in her grip, and think that what we are doing here is useful. If you are working at a job, or if you are doing something, this we think is the ultimate. And going back to Godhead and serving God is nothing, like there is no purpose. And it was just amazing how non-devotees are non-devotees are stuck to that idea, and what a task Prabhupada has taken on, trying to get people like that to take to devotional service. From that point to taking on devotional service is such a long distance. And but I was going to ask you something, but then you said that Prabhupada said, if they are not going to listen, then just give them prasadam. If they honor prasadam, that will. And so I guess, there is preaching can be done in so many different ways. And that's all our job is, to do the way Prabhupada has asked us to do. If nothing else, just give prasadam, and that will bring them, to a place where they can start serving Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah. Yeah, by preaching activity is very important, and whoever we can, if we give Krishna, then we become Krishna consciousness, because we heard it from Srila Prabhupada. So we're just following the order of Srila Prabhupada, what to do, how to engage everyone in Krishna's service. We get purified too, because we cannot give something that we don't believe, See, we have some faith in devotional service. And we have some faith in devotional service, because we heard it from Srila Prabhupada. That's why we all are engaging. We're engaging devotional service. So that's our constitutional position, Ajivera Swarupaya Nitya Krishna Das. We all servant of Krishna. We can realize it only by engaging in Krishna consciousness. And we know this material world is not a perfect place for us to stay there. We don't. We're doing whatever we know. We're doing a lot of service here, serving our family, service our thing. But at the same time, we have to add Krishna also in our life. Very nice realization, Mother Sabaradi, like. Anybody else?
I don't see it.
Thank you, Mother Golokananadapriya. Very nice class. I really appreciated you sharing that letter from Srila Prabhupada to Shyamasundar Prabhu. That was really nice to hear. My realization is that the more that I'm practically engaged in devotional service, the more I tend to think about Krishna, and that it's we're supposed to think about Krishna all the time, but yet there's so many things in our life that can occupy that time. Family, children, job, our car, our house, our than our hobbies and the things that we tend to like. So if we only have Krishna kind of scheduled in for maybe 1% of our life, then we're only going to think about Krishna 1%, and our progress will be quite slow. And what can help with that is, if we have a kind of like a specific dedicated service, and then if we have a service, then we tend to think about that quite frequently, and then maybe we'll take 2 services, and then we'll start thinking about that. And then even when we're doing those other things, our jobs or children, we'll still be thinking about Krishna in that service. Maybe we'll call somebody and talk about it, and about that particular service. And then you start adding Krishna a little bit more, and then it goes from like 1% to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you realize, okay, I'm actually, a lot of my phone calls that I'm taking are now about Krishna, and I'm
Yeah.
talking about Krishna. It's not about these other things, and a lot of my thoughts. I wake up in the morning and I'm starting to think about,
Mm.
a particular service for Krishna, and then the mind starts to begin to attach itself. For me, the idea of pure devotional service is often just a concept, a goal, and it sounds so good. But the practical reality of just being able to occupy my time as much as I can in the service of Krishna seems to be, more tangible. Anyway, just a realization I had from your class today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, very nice, brother. You're doing wonderful service. You're taking care of Krishna's temple, a big responsibility on your head and your mind. I'm sure all the time you had to deal with temple activities about what's going on in the temple. That's such a good service to fix your mind on Krishna. Somehow or other, like when you're doing your regular duties, you're doing your regular duties, taking care of your family, going, 9 to 5 job. But at the same time, in the middle, there's always something that come in your mind, I have to do that for the temple. I need to talk to the devotees. I need to make sure that, everything is going okay at the temple, like using all, your mind constantly and thinking about Krishna in this way. If you take responsibility for Krishna's service, that's a good way to remember Krishna all the time, because we're not doing it because, you know, there's so many things, good thing. People think that when you take responsibility, you just want to show up. It's not that. It just there's some desire. You want to please your spiritual master. You want to please Srila Prabhupada. Only by rendering devotional service only and you can attain Krishna. There are many devotees, they're so sincere, in their heart. They really want to serve Krishna. So you're doing wonderful service, and it is selfless. It is selfless service, and you always been put in so many adversity. It's not easy to do this service, and those who are taking risk for Krishna. Krishna is very pleased with them, and Srila Prabhupada is very pleased, and the spiritual master is very pleased. So we have to continue doing, rendering service in this way to please Krishna, to please your spiritual master. Thank you. Mataji, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Mataji, very nice class. At least 1 hour we spent thinking about Krishna this morning. I'm thinking. And I find the story of Jayanand, I think Jayanand, you said, very inspiring. He took that job, driving car and to help the temple.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, in any small endeavor, you do for Krishna, like trying to fix your mind on Krishna is very beneficial. Any endeavor. Anyways, Maria Matari Bijawali, you have anything to add? Maria Bijawali engage his senses every day, every morning, you know, without any fail in listening to Srimad Bhagavatam. For the best service, I mean, hearing about Krishna and discussing about Krishna. Haribo, thank you so much. And any
you.
announcement, Mother Sabarade? Oh,
Drona Prabhu is here. I think Sunday feast today.
Yeah, today's the last Sunday in Kartik, so it'll be the last Sunday that we'll be offering lamps to Lord Damodar. So please try to come and serve Lord Damodar in that special way during this month of Kartik.
yeah, Srila Prabhupada is so merciful, like giving us so many ways for us to fix our mind on Krishna, isn't it?
Yeah.
As this Sunday feast, as the months of Kartik, as giving us Tulsi Devi, worshipping of Tulsi, worshipping of the deities, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, reading his book. Prabhupada is giving it so much to us so that we won't be, we can free from this material contamination. We can engage our mind in Krishna. So we have to take advantage of everything that he has been given to us so easily. Thank you very much. I've opened our businesses to all the devotees. Panchaka Pataribhyo Chakra
Present of
Prasad.